Good morning, guys. It is snowy and cold and nasty outside, so we are not going to the church today. So I figured I would record our lesson for you here this morning at my house. So normally we would watch a video first, but I don't have the video. It's at the church. So I can't show you the video of the second part of the Ten Commandments. But remember last week, Moses was up on Mount Sinai, and God was up there too. And the people down below could tell because the big cloud, there was thunder and lightning, and the mountain would shake like an earthquake. It was very obvious that God was up there. And what God was doing was God was giving Moses the Ten Commandments to come down, give them to the people to say, hey, here's 10 rules I want you to follow. Now last week we made a tablet. Now remember there's 2 tablets. So this week you can make another tablet. You just take a paper and fold it in half long ways so your paper is still long. And then don't cut on the fold, okay? Cut on the other side, and you're gonna cut just kind of like a little circle to make it a rounded top. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you're just kind of cutting off a little bit, okay, to make it rounded. And if yours is bigger or smaller, that's okay. So last week we wrote the first 4 commandments, which were all about loving God on the first tablet. This week, our commandments, this is why I brought 2 markers, just in case one of them didn't work. This week, all of the commandments are about love others. So the first 4 were about loving God. Remember, they were number 1 to have no other gods before me. Like God is supposed to be number 1. And somebody had asked, wait, I thought there was only one God. Yes, there's only one God with a capital G-O-D, but there's lots of little gods out there. And in this time, when Moses lived, people worshiped lots of different gods. They had different statues and things like that, which is part of the reason God said number 2 is no statues, no idols, nothing that you make to worship. Number 3 was don't misuse God's name. In other words, if you're going to say the name of God from your mouth, you need to make sure you're doing it in the right way. God, you're awesome. God, you're amazing. God, will you please help me with my math test? Like, talk to him the way you would want to be talked to. You don't want someone walking around saying, oh, my Miranda. Ugh. You know, like that's not the right way to use God's name. Let's use God's name in a way that he likes and that we would like. Number 4 was keep the Sabbath day holy. You need to have one day a week where you give that day to God, where you say, God, this is a day that, you know, I pray every day. I read my Bible every day. I love you every day. But this one day, I'm going to do something extra special, God. I'm going to go to church, or I'm going to draw you a picture, or I'm going to, you know, write a poem for you, or I'm just going to sit here and think about how awesome you are, God. And all of those show that we love God, okay? Now, the next 6 are love others. Now, it is interesting to me that God said 4 commandments were about him, and 6, the other 10, are about others. This is a pretty big deal to God. He wants us to definitely love other people. So, what's the first one? So, I'm going to write number 5. Oh, I put the lid on the wrong marker. Number 5 is to honor, H-O-N-O-R, honor your father and mother. Now, this was a big deal back then. You know, kids who disobeyed their parents back then, they could actually throw rocks at you. Like, you didn't want to disobey your mom and dad. But nowadays, it almost has become like, you know, they talk bad about their dad because he doesn't really do good things. Or she talks bad about her mom, or she disobeys her mom because her mom is not a good mom. God didn't give a bunch of ifs in the statement. God just said, honor your father and your mother. It's the right thing to do. No matter what you think about your mom or dad, no matter what other people think about your mom or dad, you are supposed to honor your mother and father. That means obeying them. That means respect them. That means giving them words that you would give to like the president of the United States or the principal of your school. Honor them with your words, your actions, and all that. Okay, number 6 is do not murder. Do not murder. Now, obviously, we've already heard of some stories where, like, the Egyptians got thrown into the sea and they died, and we're thinking, is that against God's commandments? Well, killing is different than murdering. Murdering is to think about it in your head, like, oh, I'm so mad at that person that I want to do something mean to them. God doesn't want our thoughts in here to be so angry at someone that we want to do something bad to them. Okay? Now, if someone is going to break into your house and they're about to hurt your mom or they're about to steal all your stuff and your, dad has to do something to defend the family, that's different. That's not murder. He wasn't thinking about it ahead of time, what he was going to do to this person. Okay? But we've got to control our anger. We've got to make sure that we are not thinking about doing something mean to someone. Okay? Number 7 is do not commit adultery. Now, most of you are not going to do this when you're a kid. This is to love someone else's wife. Okay? So like if somebody is married and somebody comes along and starts talking to the husband, trying to get the husband to come be their husband, that's what adultery is. Hopefully you're not going to do that as a little kid. Hopefully you're not going to find some married people and be like, I want to take you as my wife or my husband. But God is seriously against that. He does not want us stealing someone else's wife, which goes into the next one. Number 8 is do not steal. Okay? If someone has a dog, if someone has a bike, if someone has a Pokemon card, if someone has a pair of shoes that you really like, you are not supposed to take them. If you're in a store and you see some gum or you see some candy or maybe it's even on the floor, like it's fallen on the ground and you're thinking, they may just throw that away anyways. No, it's not yours. Don't take it. You're not supposed to steal anything that doesn't belong to you. Don't take it. If it's in your mom's purse, that's not yours. Don't take it. Do not steal. Now, number 9 is do not lie. Do not lie. Now, this one, everybody struggles with this one. Okay, whether you're 2 years old, and I ask you, did you hit him? 2-year-olds are going to be like, do I want to tell the truth and maybe have to sit in timeout? Or do I want to lie and maybe not have to sit in timeout? Adults, they do this too. Lying is saying something that's not true. If we know that we can't come play at someone's house because we are grounded and they call us, can you come play? I don't know, maybe. That's a lie. We should have said, no, I can't because I'm grounded, okay? If we don't have our homework done and our teacher asks us, did you finish your homework? We should not lie. We should say, no, ma'am, I did not finish my homework. If our mom asks us, hey, are you finished with all your assignments today? Hey, did you clean your room? Hey, did you walk the dog or feed the dog? We should not lie. Because even if our mom or dad don't know that we're lying, God knows that we're lying. Don't lie to people. The last one, number 10, is do not covet. Now, that's a big word that we probably don't know what it means. Do not covet. That means don't want what your neighbor has. If your neighbor has a dog, you may not go over and steal that dog. But if you're always looking out your window and you're always thinking, I really want that dog. I wish that dog was my dog. If that was my dog, I would take better care of that dog. I think that that dog should be mine. Like, always wanting what someone else has, that's covet. We should not covet. We should not want what someone else has. A lot of times because it leads to us stealing it or even us lying about it. You know, we aren't supposed to do that, okay? So all of these things are to help us love others. Now, one of my favorite books is Berenstain Bears books. And this is one of the ones that is about loving others. And you've all heard the story, because I know I've taught it before, about the Good Samaritan, who the man was laying on the ground and he's like about to die because robbers have beat him up and he's hurt. And 3 different people walk by: a priest who is, you know, like a preacher, a Levite who's like a leader in the church, and then a Samaritan person who's like totally different race, different culture. Like, they didn't even like them. They thought they were bad people. But the Levite, the priest, both of them just walked on by. They didn't even look at that man who was hurt and laying on the ground. But the third person, the Samaritan one, he's the one that stopped, got down, helped the man, bandaged up his wounds, put him on his donkey, brought him to a hotel, told the hotel man, take care of him. I'll be back in a few days. And if it costs you any more money than what here I'm giving you now, I'll bring more money. That is how Jesus said we are to love our neighbors. That's a lot. Like, what are we doing for people out here that we see that are hurt or scared? Now, in this story, these guys over here are called the Bog Brothers, and this is the Bear family. And, you know, the Berenstain Bears are a good family. They take good care of their stuff. And they look over at the Bog Brothers, though, and the Bog Brothers do not take care of their yard. It's nasty. They got animals everywhere. It stinks. It's dirty. And they don't wear nice clothes. And so the Bear family was kind of looking at them thinking, ugh, they're gross. Like, you know, maybe we don't have to be nice to them. We don't need to invite them to supper. We don't need to, you know, talk to them or hang out with them. But, you know, one day they were going to this big festival in town, and they were driving along, and then all of a sudden their car broke down. And, you know, as they were standing there hoping someone would help them and give them a ride, do you know who came by? The rich people. 2 different neighbors of theirs who had big houses, big cars, lots of money. Like, they were nice, and they were friends with these people. But they were in such a hurry to get to the festival themselves, they didn't have time to stop and help the Bear family. And so they just kept on going. Well, along come the Bog Brothers. And the Bog Brothers weren't even going to the festival. Like, they were going to do something else. But they stopped, and they pulled the Bear family's car to their uncle's house, where he fixed the radiator hose and got their car all fixed. And then, you know what the Bear family decided? These people were more kind to us. These people were more like neighbors to us than our friends. And so they invited them to the festival, and the Bog Brothers ended up coming to the festival. Let me find that picture. They come to the festival, and they ended up singing for everybody and having a good time. And the Bear family probably was like embarrassed, but they started introducing them to people. Like, these people are kind. These people are neighborly. They're good people. So then they even invited them over to their house for dinner, and they even got all dressed up. Okay? So the reason that I wanted to show you those pictures is so I can show you it's the same thing today. You may not walk by someone who's laying on the road sick and hurt, but you are looking at people and you're thinking, oh, they would be a good friend. Oh, but those, I don't want to play with them. That's not what Jesus wants. Jesus wants us to love others. It's interesting to me that when God gave these 10 commandments, he didn't say, you know, honor your father and mother if they're good people, if they're nice. He didn't say, do not murder unless there's this really wicked person in your neighborhood, and then you can go ahead and do that. Or do not steal unless, the person who has it, they're not taking good care of it anyway. He didn't give conditions to how we're supposed to obey these commands. And if you look in the New Testament, not only did Jesus give the story of the Good Samaritan, but Jesus cared about the people who were sick, the blind, the ones who couldn't walk, the ones who had skin diseases, all that. The people that the religious people thought, ugh, don't touch them, don't talk to them, they're not good people. Just like the Bond brothers, who kind of don't look very good or clean. That's what Jesus is saying is, hey, you're supposed to love everybody. Everybody. No matter what they look like, what they smell like, what they act like, how smart they are. You're supposed to love everybody. So, let me pray with you today, because I know this is hard. It's hard to love God and put Him first, and it's definitely hard to love other people. But that is what God wants us to do. That's the two most important things. And if you get those two things right, remember the song we sang? It all comes down to this. Love God and love people, right? Love God and love people. Let me pray for you. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for all the boys and girls who are at home today trying to stay warm. I pray that their power would stay strong and their electricity in their house, and that they would be warm and safe, and that they would have the things they need, like food and everything to stay in their house and not have to get out on these yucky roads. I pray that you would give the teachers and principals wisdom this week as to when to call off school and when not, to keep all of our kids safe. I pray that they would have a good week. And God, as it's Valentine's Day, help us to remember that you don't want us to just love our friends. You don't want us to just love the people we like. You don't want us just to love the nice, cute, funny kids. You want us to love everybody, God, even the ones who are not as smart, or even the ones who get in trouble, or even the ones, God, who have been mean to us. You want us to love everyone. God, I pray that you would talk to us this week and love on us. Remind us how much you love us, so that we will share your love with others. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, let me show you a game that you can play. This really has more to do with loving God than loving people, but you need some string. It can be yarn. It can be anything. Okay, I couldn't find my yarn this morning, so I just pulled this bag of string out. You can use this to make jewelry and stuff like that. But what you're going to do is you're going to have to get your mom or dad to help you, or your brother or sister. But you're going to take your string and you're going to cut it into different lengths. You can make small pieces. You can make medium-sized pieces, whatever. And then what you're going to do with all these pieces of string is pick maybe like one room in your house, because you don't want to find string like 3 months later. But maybe like your bedroom, or maybe your big sister's bedroom. You're going to take the string and you're going to hide it, or you're going to get someone else to hide it all in that one room. And then you're going to be on a mission to find every piece of string you can find. And when you come back, you're going to have like a competition. So maybe if like you and your brother and your sister do it together, see who gets the most string. And so you'll line them all up, okay? Stretch them out and see who has the most. See who has the longest string once they're all put together. And then what you can do with your string is you can spell out some words. All the string you collect, work together and spell out God's love, okay? So you're going to make a G, and you can put the strings together, like piece them together to where it's one big word, God's love, okay? All right, so that's it for today. I hope you guys have a warm, safe day, and if you need me to pray about anything, please let me know. I'm praying for you guys, and I love you, and I miss you so much. Hope you have a great week. Bye.